In the latest batch of episodes, we see Sally and Medina reunite and have a conversation about the whole diabolical of Sally basically running away after they saw each other for the first time. Now, there's been a lot of assumptions, speculations, accusations about that whole encounter. Some people were saying, she ran away because he was laughing at her. He was being disrespectful to her by laughing at her. So that's why she ran away. He's disrespectful. Some people felt like he was just nervous and that it was a misunderstanding. And some people felt like, she saw him, she didn't like what she saw, and she did a runner. Personally, I feel like he was nervous. I don't think there was any malicious intent with the laughing, but I feel like he came across unserious. I do feel like the laughing also made her uneasy and insecure, but I also feel like the outfit put her off, false locks put her off, and all of that together made her do a runner. But anyway, they have a conversation about it, and basically they conclude that it was all a misunderstanding. She basically thought that he was laughing at her. He says that he was nervous, and he was also thinking, like, did she leave him because she thought that she was ugly or she didn't like the way that he looked? And she's like, no, that wasn't it. I just got in my head. I thought you were laughing at me. I was insecure. So it turned out to be this big misunderstanding. Whether that's what people believe, let me know. Do you believe that? But what they're saying is basically it was all a big misunderstanding. And then it comes to, what's going to happen next. She's come with her engagement ring. So she's saying, like, do you want to continue? And he's giggling, he's laughing, and he's like, yeah, let's give it a go. Let's move in with each other. And it's all upbeat again. It seems like black love is back on. But guys, what do we think? Was this a joyous moment? Should Sally have been suspicious? Because, there is this thing that is like, if you embarrass a man, don't take him back because he's going to be plotting his revenge. Personally, I get that point of view, but I feel like just a genuine misunderstanding from both sides. And I felt like he had processed that. So he wasn't really going to be coming on a revenge thing. Anyway, in the beginning of them reuniting, it seems like they're getting along well. It's cute. A little juvenile, but cute. It seems like Sally is getting used to the fact that, Medina laughs a lot at things. And, she's starting to accept that. I feel like this laughing and this kind of air of unseriousness and, immaturity. I think in the beginning, Sally found it cute and she was kind of romanticizing it. And I think she romanticized it in the pods as well, because this whole laughing, not taking things seriously issue was present in the pods as well. And I feel like Sally has kind of romanticized this. And eventually, I feel like this did become an issue in the latest batch of episodes, because then they start talking about the serious stuff. Like, basically, Sally wants him to move to her, and he doesn't want to. He basically wants her to move to him. And obviously they've got to compromise on that. And she's just basically saying, once they have kids, my family's going to be helping out with the kids. And then he's talking about, so what are you saying? Like, my family's not going to help with the kids? Is that what you're saying? Obviously that's not what she said, but he's immediately being defensive and combative. And it's like, she didn't come for your family. So that tone was not needed. I feel like if he said, well, my family would help with the kids as well, that would have been different. But him coming out the gate saying, oh, so you don't think my family is going to help with the kids? Like, that's not what she said. Don't do that. But obviously they're clashing on things like that. And it seems like they're both very like firm in that they don't want to move. So, if they can't come with a compromise with that, how's this relationship going to work? Then she goes on to basically say that words of affirmation are her love language. Like, can you say something nice? She wants more effort in him saying words of affirmation. And he basically snaps back and is like, oh, you're trying to change me to something that I'm not. I don't like how you're trying to change me. Hey, all because she said say something nice in my love language is words of affirmation. Now you're talking about stop trying to change me. Huh? And after that, she's like, okay, let's get the check. I want to go home. Because they're at dinner at this point. And he's like, really? And yeah, I think even before that, she was basically saying, like, are we crazy for getting this in relationship? Are we even that good of a match? And I would say No. Medina just is always going to have this air of unseriousness about him, this air of immaturity about him. And I feel like Sally wants a serious man. She wants a serious man. That's what she really wants. But she's trying to make it work with Medina. And I just feel like it's just very much like they're both trying to make it work with what they have just because they've come on this show. They've already been struggling to find a husband or a wife in real life. Giving complacency, and it's kind of giving like a complacent type of relationship. I feel like there's not really that much chemistry there because even in the pod it was kind of giving brother and sister. So personally, I don't think they should get married. Also, when they discuss meeting Sally's parents, Sally basically says he's going to have to cut his faux locks off. He's going to have to get rid of his earrings, get rid of his chains. And I know she was dying to say that. And that's why I suspect that she saw, the style, the fashion, the false locks. And, that was one of the factors that made her run for the hills, darling. Also, on top of that, it seems like Medina's mother doesn't actually approve of Sally yet. She thinks that this whole process is too quick and that, things like this take time. And she's talking about, she needs to make sure that, he has a good woman, a good godly woman by his side. And basically insinuating that she's not convinced that Sally is this good godly woman for her son. And on top of that, Sally just looked very uncomfortable next to his mother the whole dinner. Like, it seems like the mother was just screw facing the whole dinner. And it's definitely giving that the mother-in-law could be a problem. I feel like, I know Sally's African. I feel like Medina's African as well. And if that's the case, African mothers-in-laws, especially when it comes to their only sons or they've got more daughters than sons, when it comes to the sons, especially when they're coming right out the gate being very protective of their sons, that's another issue to navigate in itself. On top of Medina, not meeting Sally's standards, if we're being real, she's definitely negotiating her standards with Medina. I don't think it's that deep to get married. I think they should both just be honest and say, we're not compatible. So personally, I don't think that they should get married. But I got to hear from you guys. Do we feel like they can make it work? Do they have enough things in common to make it work? Because they do have things in common as well. But ultimately, I just feel like the fundamental things that are going to make a marriage long lasting, they don't have together. But I got to hear from you guys. Was this a smart decision to get back together? And should they get married?